season. Get you a mug. You know you need one. www.theplayasclubpodcast.com. Go cop it right now.
Cheers. Episode 50, the Playaz Club podcast. Chaos and creativity is the topic of today. Lex, how you feel?
We feeling good, man. How you feeling?
Feeling great. Thanks for asking. How would you say uncertainty plays a role in the world of creativity?
I feel like it plays the biggest role. Uncertainty as an artist is pretty much a key component
Hmm.
as to any creative process or any creative endeavor, pretty much. You have to account for something unpredicted is going to come into it. How do you feel about it?
Because I think, yeah, well, you made a great point as to your vision and what you make doesn't always line up. So I think just navigating that uncertainty and that chaos in a way is just that uncertainty because you don't really know what's gonna come out of your creativity. How would you define chaos and creativity?
Creativity is pretty much just the free range, just to express what you need to express without the fear of outside expectations put with it. But also, creativity to a point is those disruptions, those unpredictable moments that come into it. I feel like that's creativity in a whole, so to say, is those disruptions and everything. It's like that's what kind of kicks in your creativity. Do you feel the same way about that? Like,
Things that pull you away from your craft.
yeah, like it kind of puts you out of your comfort zone in a way.
Yeah, I would say so. Well, that's how I define chaos and creativity is just that uncertainty because you don't really know what you're gonna make, but you kind of know what you're gonna make, but not really because those
Yeah,
mistakes pile up and it creates something completely different than you imagined. And I think it's just about embracing that chaos and those mistakes and trying to navigate that. How do you think you're able to tap into your creativity whenever you do feel like you have chaotic times or uncertainty?
it is easy to get encapsulated by what is happening chaotic wise, whether it's big or it's small, in your case. But allowing yourself to tap into that creativity is kind of hard because you got to focus on the positive that's happening in a negative kind of situation or negative moment that's overwhelmed with a lot of aspects that are coming against you. So you do have to kind of fight through that to see that, like, okay, this is just necessary to anything that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really fight against the chaos because yeah, that's what is fueling you to keep this going, right? Certain people will kind of not, how do you say, not be able to trudge along those lines, but others can see it as an opportunity to be better in that scenario.
Mm-hmm. I remember you saying that you thrive creatively in the chaos. But do you feel as though those distractions pull you away?
At times, yeah, because like I said,
How do you get back to that though?
it is hard to stray,
Mm.
from your initial.
The way your line of thinking, your creative process, because I think chaos kind of mixes that up and breaks up your routine. Like you always paint this way, you always write stories this way, but the chaos kind of clears your palette in a way, it makes you think outside of the box creatively.
True, or it's just you don't have the same circumstances that someone else has.
So sure.
You don't have the tools that they have. They're
Mm.
using a certain brush. You don't have that. You got to use a paper towel or something like that. It gives the same effect, but
But it's
you
you don't
have
have the
to.
supplies.
Yeah, you have to come up with something. Chaos is kind of a negative connotation in a way. As to it's something that just wreaks havoc. It's not something that builds upon something else, which creatively, oddly enough, that's what it does. whether you see it as like a positive like that, or you see it as a negative, as like, yeah, it just screwed my whole plans up because I had this way I was going with it, and hell, I moved the brush the wrong way. Color that wasn't supposed to be there is now there, and it's blended with everything else. What the hell am I gonna do? You know, like, I didn't want it to be there. Now you gotta work this
Embrace that
painting
mistake.
around that, but that's what makes it so,
Mhm.
yeah, it's so unique, and it kind of gives your need to have that shake up within your routine, like you said, because yeah, I always put blue for skies. I always do this, you know. Trees are green, all this and that. You've never made blue trees. You've never tried anything else, you know, like you never branched out in that way. So chaos is a positive in that way. It does kind of push you out, make you be innovative.
Hmm. Yeah, dude, I think chaos can really make you be innovative because it can make you create new forms of art. Because if you don't have regular paints, you go out into the dirt and you start digging up clay and you paint with that, and
Yeah.
you come up with a new color that no one even really existed, you know, or you
Oh
try
yeah.
like things that you paint with certain, you don't have a certain brush, but you use the paper towels and it comes out in such a unique way that no one's ever done it that way before. So I think embracing the chaos and just going with the flow and embracing the materials that you do have access to, and you don't set those, I guess, limitations
Mhm.
by uh, the chaos overwhelming you, and you're able to create new forms of art and embrace it and create all the time, even though you don't have the necessary materials that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Do you think your environment plays a big factor into the chaos that goes into your creativity?
I feel like it's a big factor because it's kind of how we were, you know, going into the thing about chaos, the distraction of it all. It makes you stray from it. If you're in a quiet room, you're painting by yourself, and you're all serene and calm, you know exactly what you're gonna do. And then 30 people flooded into this small room with you, started yelling, started throwing things across the room and stuff like that, hitting your easel while you're trying to paint and shit like that. Of course, you're gonna lose some ideas, you know, like, but it's also that too is kind of, do you have the resilience to be calm,
The
to,
flexibility.
to know what you're still going after in the midst of chaos? Can you still pull this up? You know, it's a good thing if you stray from it, but it's also a good thing if you can encapsulate that and keep it in the midst of all that. 30 people are freaking losing their minds around you, but you hone in. I know exactly what I'm doing.
Because in every creative endeavor, there is failure.
Failure is beautiful when it comes to art.
Yeah, man, because I think without failure in art, there's no progression.
There's no room for growth.
And
You're already at the point where you need to be. You know?
mm, yeah, man, because I feel like once you adapt that growth mindset, you kind of have a different perspective on chaos and you kind of embrace it more rather
Yeah,
than see it as a negative, as, oh, it's just something that always pops up. Or there's a negative always in the positive. But I think it can be embraced and used for your own benefit creatively.
because how do you stay you yourself? How do you stay resilient in those moments of chaos? How would you say?
How do I stay resilient? I think by realizing that chaos is a catalyst for creativity, meaning like it stirs up the pot, like it
Mm-hmm.
stirs up all the ideas that you're originally thinking. It kind of goes away with them and allows you to create new ideas, and it takes away your materials. And it's like, well, what are you going to create now? And that's whenever you have to innovate and not create things that you relied on before, you know? Oh, you always paint that way? It's like, oh, you can't paint that way anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to find a new way to paint. And I think whenever you embrace the chaos that way, treat it as a catalyst, like it's just the beginning of something new.
Yeah. Every artist, you know, has had a point where they see chaos as it's a big negative. I don't want anything chaotic
because it's
to
turbulence,
happen. Any type of failure, yeah, it derails you. Overall, it derails you, man. You don't have a set idea anymore as to what you're going towards. You're just stuck in this cycle of
It's
like, I
loop.
don't know where it's going, and
Mhm.
what am I working towards? But at the same time, that's also another beauty of artwork is that you don't know where you're going. Like we said, the empty
You really don't know
canvas.
what you're making at the end of the day. It's just comes together at the end.
The empty canvas has too many possibilities.
It is both hopeful and intimidating at the same time.
Yeah. Oh my god, I don't want to step. I'm not even gonna pour any paint because I don't know what color I want.
Yeah,
There's too many colors now.
too
What
many to choose from.
what colors do you blend? What basic colors do you put? Are you going to make any objects on this thing? Is it just going to be splotches of paint or something like that? It just runs for miles. But
Mhm.
that's the beauty. Unpredictability in art is beautiful.
Mm.
Everything is beautiful. It's all positive, but
That's what makes the world, yeah.
but at the same time, it's so easy to look at it as like, dude, this is crushing me down. Like, it's stunting my creativity, man.
Yeah, I think even following tutorials of like teaching someone else how to paint or something, it's like, oh, well, mine didn't come out like that.
Yeah,
I think that's the point. It's not supposed to come out that
yeah,
exactly like theirs.
yeah. That used to be my problem. Was that comparison game? Was like, dude, I don't look like that. I
Mm.
failed. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to be doing this. I'm not a painter. You automatically put yourself in that box that says you're not an artist.
Mm.
But really, what is an artist?
The attempt in itself is a work of art.
Yeah. So, in that case, as to have you gotten to a point where you fully embrace chaos within your artistry? That's how you said you kind of got to be
Mm.
okay with it being a whole part of
Mm.
your creative process.
I think it's getting better just about the whole thing of embracing the uncertainty of it
Mm-hmm.
and just being able to express that freely and not being able to put your creativity in a box essentially.
Yeah.
Like this is how it has to be. But I think especially whenever there are times of chaos around you, I think it's important to allow yourself to create freely and just be able to be in that mindset of creativity. Because I think it's hard enough to create specifically like that,
Mm-hmm.
but if you do that in times of chaos, I find that it's very uh, downing on your creativity.
Downing just because you're
Like,
kind of forcing it in a way.
yeah, because I think you're kind of just not, you're trying to express an emotion that's not really there.
Yeah. Or also like an emotion that you don't necessarily feel. Yeah. I found that too, where you have to you have to really dig deep as to yeah I've felt this before, or else you could tell.
I think it hits more, yeah.
Yeah, you could tell that's like okay, you're just painting this because someone else painted it.
Or someone else wanted to see you paint.
Yeah, which that's also hard. The chaos of the outside expectations that are placed upon you as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see you do this because I saw you do this. Do
Mm-hmm.
that. I want you to be this as an artist, so be that. Like
And you're
you
getting
have
pulled
to,
so many which ways creatively.
yeah, you have to fight against that type of chaos as well as an artist, as you know, your creative endeavors and stuff. It's everybody telling you what you should be
It's like
and what you want to be as an artist.
it's like how do you find your unique voice
Yeah,
when everyone else's voice is talking as well? And I think that's a part of the chaos as well. It's like drowning out all the noise and being able to hear your voice clearly and
exactly.
what you want to create and what you want to make.
Yeah, you could be able to maybe take it into consideration,
Mhm.
little bits of it, but it's not like okay, let me change my
Full
whole
style
identity.
and
It's
artistic identity.
yeah, just because that's maybe you think I could pull that off. That's the hypothetical as well as people go on artists and stuff because you made this. I think maybe you could do this. But you just got to see them evolve how they're going to evolve.
How artists evolves over time. Well, let me ask you this: how do you feel as though you're able to keep focus whenever like you're being pulled naturally every which way? You know, like creatively.
Um, I'm not going to be able to lie. I'm not going to be able to lie, and I shouldn't lie
The
about it.
wind.
But sometimes, yeah, the wind pulls me with it. With that
Naturally,
analogy,
bro.
I just, yeah, I'm
You
gone.
get lost with the wind.
Because it is easy, man. You get overwhelmed, and yeah, you don't know which way you're gonna go. Because either people are telling you they're throwing their 2 cents in about the situation.
You're seeing other artists
They,
is coming on. It's like
yeah, and
different
it's
styles.
would say to get me from a point where I get taken by the wind and get me back to a point where I could root a post and I could stay there. What the hurricane has would probably be to be more aware in that moment of what's going on, not necessarily to the point where I'm getting overwhelmed and I'm getting taken with it, but just to assess it and say, this is what we need to do to mediate it. How could you possibly even break it down to, I could use it as an output. I'm going through this hardship and shit. I'm going to make a painting about a hurricane now.
And,
You do it afterwards because I survived that shit. I made it. This is a painting that represents that.
emotion.
You know, like you could use it as an output. Some people have to get those options kind of placed out in front of them because if you are overwhelmed by all this chaos that's happening around you, you're not going to see options. That's all that's happening. There is nothing else.
Yeah, I think it definitely takes a sense of self awareness, knowing like when to work, when to walk away from it,
Mm-hmm.
and knowing you're not letting the work get overwhelming for you, and kind of navigating those tides because I think it comes in waves in a way,
Mm-hmm.
and just being able to know how chaos affects you, and just like you said, put it into your art and embrace it. Have a sense of balance as well, but also just being able to put that emotion into your art.
Yeah. Like in that case of as an artist, you have to kind of be aware that there is a balance of letting go
Letting go and
and
control.
controlling. So, how do you feel that you have a balance between that? Is a better question to ask.
Letting go.
Letting go and having control.
I try to keep a nice balance with it, letting it go, knowing when to walk away, knowing when the project is done, when to stop adding, when to add,
Mm-hmm.
uh, letting go. And the source of control is just knowing what you're going to make and the general direction of what you're going to make. Because I think that's important as well, is to know which way you're headed and not just totally free roam creatively.
Yeah.
Because I think if you have the two together, you're able to put your put those complex emotions in there, and not just generalize all your emotions together.
Yeah. People can pull and see exactly what emotion that you were trying to showcase.
And I think that's the whole point of it, is to try and showcase that uh, emotion and that experience. Because I think if you're able to showcase that, someone can feel that, relate to it.
Yeah, I feel like every piece of art is a little experience, whether it's deep rooted emotions like that, or it's just someone sitting in front of a canvas and saying, I just sat here and I wanted to see blue, pink, and yellow on a canvas. So I put it. I didn't have no
Reason,
trauma or anything that was behind it. It's just I just sat here. And that's what's crazy about art and all that. It's the chaotic part of it is just a little small. element of what art is, just artistry in general.
It's just a small section that goes into a bigger picture. Yeah,
Yeah,
being able to capture that complexity, and but also not lose yourself in that as well.
yeah. Because I see it as the the control aspect of art. I would say how you know dove into the topic of it's what you want to create, it's what you intended to create, want to get across. But on the letting go aspect,
Oh yeah, that's right.
I see it as um, pretty much you let go of how I said everybody's outside expectations. You made it for yourself. This is why I'm putting it out. It's not necessarily I could get y'all's admiration and all that with this piece or that. It's just what I wanted to showcase, whatever emotion or scenery, something simple. Who knows what it is, but just what I wanted to get across. I feel like that's the letting go process.
Mm.
How I see it.
Yeah, that letting go is definitely tough. I see that uh, being able to let that go, just being able to express yourself in that way. I also see it as letting it go as to just not necessarily having perfect conditions to create and allowing yourself to create in any uh, environment,
Yeah.
no matter how limiting it may be to you, the chaos that is going on around you. I think you'll be able to have a creative mind and thrive in that as well. Just letting it go as to it doesn't have to be perfect or your idea of perfect.
It also doesn't have to be affected by any environmental chaos that's going on around you. You can let it be free in that aspect.
Because yeah, your artistic creativity reigns free, even if your mental, is going through chaos or your physical.
That's where it comes in. It says, "Oh, how resilient are you
Mm.
as an artist? Can you bounce back from that? Can you be creative?"
Yeah, because the chaos creatively tests your adaptability, your maybe you said your promise to the craft, your dedication, I guess,
Yeah.
dedication to the craft, because it puts you in odd situations to adapt and to grow.
So how do you see it as? How does it make you adapt as an artist?
How
Those
does it
chaotic
see your?
moments.
Because I think it makes you evolve because it changes your old habits, it changes your line of thinking. So you have to evolve to survive artistically. You have to change the way you create because your audience's taste changes as well. You grow along with them,
Yeah.
because they grow and see your artistic growth in your emotional ways. So I think if you're able to express that, it allows for the chaos to be be a mirror.
In what way? How is it reflecting you as an artist in that chaotic moment, or it's reflecting the chaos
Hmm.
that's going on?
I think it reflects the chaos that is internal and external within the artist. Because I think the art captures the chaos and then it then holds up a mirror to the person looking at it to see if they see themselves or if they don't.
Mhm.
It's some emotion that they're not really familiar with. And I think just that beginning of the conversation sparks what is that for you?
Yeah,
What does that emotion or thing trying to portray?
and it's the age old argument of no, it means this. Because everybody sees chaos differently.
It's very subjective.
Someone can come up and look to a painting and say it's not showcasing chaos at all.
It's not chaotic.
It's not chaotic, you know, it's just art. Someone else is like, no, it's more deep rooted and it means all this and stuff. Everybody's just, it's very subjective. That's why it's who's really right in any of those scenarios. So, in what ways do you see chaos as being a positive source of change for an artist?
Because I think chaos allows you to evolve. It makes you change. It makes the circumstances change. Because it's always constantly changing. And to embrace that change, I think you're allowing yourself to fully explore your creativity and your emotional mind. How do you how do you view it?
It it forces you to do things that you wouldn't necessarily do in your regular structure. You say your
Your
routine.
routine.
So it does force you to be someone else, you know, as an artist that you aren't typically, which that begs the question, are you actually that person that, you know, when you have to take risks, are you that person as opposed to the artist that just makes stuff on the regular, you know? When you're tested, I guess that's what really brings out your true artistry and what you would do to get that emotion or whatever you want across.
How far are you willing to? Because I think that's an intimidating thing as an artist is to being able to get across that emotion or even able to articulate that emotion is a very difficult thing. How do you think you're able to find ways to discover that and put that into words or painting or
For me, it's at times it's hard to articulate it into it. At times where I'm not focusing on articulating that specific emotion or topic, so to say, into an art piece,
Mhm.
then that's when I get the most raw emotion put into it. So I'm not hyper fixated on,
you're free flowing?
yeah, like we have to say this emotion, or we have to put this in there because it's incorporated with like your typical pieces that people showcase this emotion in it.
That's a
So
good point is to allowing yourself to navigate the pressure that you put on yourself as well as to you want it to be good, but you also want it to be an authentic version that you're trying to put out there.
yeah, I don't want it to be someone else's piece that they already put out.
Or just yeah,
Then it's then it's why did I make it, man? It's already here.
it already exists.
Yeah, you're supposed to be making art that just challenges everybody's notion of what they think normal is or art is in general.
That's a good point. What do you think some myths or misconceptions are about the chaos that goes into creativity?
That it shouldn't be incorporated into creativity. You
Mm.
should always have a calm environment or anything like that. Be calm internally. Um, the fact that you can't thrive within the chaos, you can't be creative within chaos. Because some people will fight to the death and say you can't be creative.
Yeah, it throws you off your game.
Yeah, but
Definitely
if
can.
you bring a piece to them and say, "Well, I made this in the most chaotic time of my life," argue with me on that point. You know, kind of like you could have your output how you see it. You can't be creative if you're in a chaotic situation, but I can. That's the thing about creativity is how it spans so wide. In any scenario, you could be creative, but people like to put it dumbed down as to no, you have to sit in front of
It's a
this
specific talent.
canvas. You have to be able to sing into a mic. You have to have that type of talent to be creative.
It's a good one. creativity is a mindset. It's a lifestyle, really.
Intelligent. I mean, your level of intelligence, that I mean, that speaks your creativity levels as well.
Yeah, just your living life.
Yeah, how you maneuver through life.
Yeah, dude. I think those are some good ones. Being able to good myths about the chaos and creativity. I think there's a lot of them that's like creativity can't thrive in the chaos, and creativity can't survive in restrictions like we're talking about. You don't really have the necessarily right tools, but you
Yeah,
can still create. You know? You still can overcome those obstacles and create something unique that's unique to yourself.
you could still showcase what whatever you wanted to showcase, and then still be art. It's not someone is is gatekeeping it and says no, you can't enter that into this. You're not an artist, all right?
Yeah,
You didn't make this with that brush. I did. So get your shit out of here.
yeah.
But some people are like that, which like y'all need to get a grip. I'm sorry to say, but like, I'm not sorry to say, y'all need to get a grip. Like, stop gatekeeping this shit.
Yeah,
Because art is art, man. Anyway, it's created, man. Fingers, brushes, hell, even if you don't have fingers and shit, you got nubs. You created this with nubs. You made something, man. Like,
yeah.
it's all, it's all
It's
just
all about
meant.
the expression.
Yeah, it's all just meant to be here and exist, man. To have someone relate to it and be able to bring about that discussion.
Talk about it.
The chaos of people creating art, that's also a thing.
Mhm.
You drop this piece, I don't agree with this piece.
It's
That's
controversial.
dangerous. You know, it's controversial. Why are you showing war in your pieces?
Mhm.
I don't like pieces about war. Relationship hardships. I don't like. That's not art.
It brings about discussion
Art is
to
happy.
deeper topics.
You know, yeah. So it's very it is very subjective. Even on this topic, is like, is chaos even a big part of creativity? Is creativity a part of chaos? Someone's gonna say, hell no, how can it? How can it? There's too many things that are going on to
You can't control. Yeah.
someone's gonna be creative? Hell no. Oddly enough, it is.
So, would you say chaos is necessary for creativity?
I wouldn't say it's necessary for it,
Mhm.
but for the majority of art that you see, it is brought from chaos.
I agree.
But yeah, someone doesn't need any deep rooted trauma to create art. Contrary to a lot of people's beliefs that say you need to be sad. You need to be sad because that's the best kind of art because they're going through it, man. You know the hunger is high,
Mm.
you know. But someone could just get a toothbrush, dip it in some paint, flick it. They didn't have any deep rooted trauma. It didn't come from a special place. They just it was the art.
Yeah, it's definitely so complex. Because I feel as though whenever you are feeling those complex and you're in the chaos, it's like what comes out of that, you know? Like if you're mad and you try to paint a happy picture, what does that look like?
Yeah,
You know, like you're trying to use these different emotions to almost as a lens, you know, like to learn a bit more about yourself and your art.
yeah. It also builds upon that human connection aspect.
Mhm.
We went through the chaos together. That's why we relate on
Mm.
this art piece.
Yeah, man, I think that can also add some deeper meaning into art as well. Like that picture symbolizes, that painting symbolizes, we went through this together and it's coming together too. So I think art, it's crazy how it can have such a much more deep meaning than it naturally is intended to.
Yeah, you see those painting restorations, or where they kind of turn this thing into like a ghost or something like that. If you had a piece that was like a burnt down house or something like that, It looks horrible. It's all decaying and stuff like that. Whatever tree that was there is not there. Bushes, yada yada. And someone comes up and says, "Oh my God, this is so depressing," and stuff like that. Why would anybody paint this? Why would they want to capture that moment? Of course, it's to capture the hardship and be like, "Damn, okay, this was an event that happened." Someone can relate to it and be like, "Damn, yeah, I went through that. Me too. My house burned down,
Yeah.
or something, or my mom's house burned down, something like that." Or someone could come up with a little paintbrush and start painting a little flower amongst this
Mm. And it has a whole
wreckage.
different meaning.
It's birth of a new life. It's how you said it's starting over. We get to build it back up. It's positive. It sucks, but it happens. But look at the bright side. We could start digging this hole right here, put a seed, and then we got our roses back.
Start again.
It's, it's also that, it's what chaos separates people that will see that as an opportunity for growth, opportunity for new life, new perspectives, or someone that just says it's cut off right here, and that's what it is. Nothing more.
I think chaos can act as a kind of a beauty in that way, as so it is a blank canvas. You can repaint whatever you want in there to be again. You can create once again. It's not just that's the end. It's just like you said, the beginning of a better story.
It's also how I used to think as too. If you messed up on a painting before, it's done. Just throw it off. I'm never gonna work on it again. But if you come back later on, maybe you pick it up and you add to it,
You
make it
have a
better.
different vision.
You have a different view. It's not a failure. Just okay, I let you sit until I have the proper love or attention to show you, and I can make you what you were supposed to be. I just had to wait.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's kind of the beauty of stepping away during times of chaos as well, is to you kind of get a different perspective and you kind of give yourself time to gain that perspective and go back and have a creative mind and thrive in it as well. You can grow rather than forcing yourself to try to create and letting the work overwhelm you.
Or even collaborations, man. You
Yeah.
take that piece and you bring it to somebody else and say, "I hate this, dude. Like, do you want it? Or do you want to help me fix this?" It's either someone is going to take it and they'll be like, "Okay, well, I can make it something."
Mhm.
Or they can work with you, give you a whole fresh perspective on it, and you evolve that way because you worked with someone that didn't see it as a means to end. They saw it as that flower just.
Someone was someone was able to build upon your chaos in that way.
Yeah. Someone could see your chaos as not chaotic.
Mm.
Like it's not chaos in their eyes, but it is in your eyes. It's easier to work out for them
Yeah.
than it's overwhelming for you to even think about starting out working on it.
That's why I like collaboration during times of chaos as well, because it kind of builds that community and just that uh, relatability in each other that isn't that so chaotic. It is manageable
Yeah.
that they're able to get through and manage the project or whatever it is together.
You could see the other side.
You can see it from a different perspective, the other person's perspective.
And it's at times, because I don't know if you feel, at times, I've felt where during chaotic moments, I don't necessarily reach out for collaboration. Sometimes I do,
I feel that.
but other times I don't because it's
So
overwhelming and
chaotic.
stuff. I don't want someone else in here throwing their opinion and stuff, and that gets thrown around and stuff. I need to mediate it. In most cases, I need to mediate it down, and then I can bring it to someone. Do you feel that same way? Like, do you seek out collaborations? when you're hit with chaotic moments?
At times, I think it has to align, like the chaos has to match, I guess. Because I do definitely feel that where it's kind of like a bit overwhelming, and you have to kind of be a bit more reflective in your art, like kind of try to figure out kind of what's going on
Mhm.
in your own mind and your own creativity, and then you're able to stand out and have collaborations that way. Be a bit more cohesive with the group. Because I think if you not, then it's kind of like y'all are fighting in different directions.
Yeah, it's not you against the problem. It's pretty much you against each other's problems, and that never works. You know, especially if you can't articulate it out
Mm.
to say this is the problem. You know,
Yeah, and I
it's
think
just
that goes into a little bit of the aspect of letting go too with collaborations. It's like, can you
yeah,
trust another person's vision creatively? And y'all both have the same creative vision.
yeah.
And letting it go in the way that it's going to be what it's going to be. And you trust that it's going to be there at the end of the creative process, you know?
See, and that's a problem for me too, is because like you're so used to having control
Mm.
over something.
You know it's going to be there, yeah.
If I do it, I know
For sure, 100%.
it's gonna be this, it's gonna do this, and all that, but sometimes I'm wrong.
Mhm.
You know, also you gotta reach that point where you realize you're not always right in your pathways that you want to take. I don't know if that's the right term to use, but
Mhm.
you know, your direction, better to say, your direction in a project. Someone could tell you it's a good idea, but you're just executing it wrong.
We could get there faster in other ways.
Yeah. So I do understand if anybody does have that problem, you don't reach out. I understand that problem because you're like, dude, I will get it done.
Yeah.
If I put it on somebody else, man, are they even gonna care about it? Is my
Enough
problem
to
too.
get it done. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, do you care about this project? Because I do, but I don't want to hand it off. And then you just like throw it on the back burner, and I'm like, well, I could have done that shit,
For real.
but I cared about it. I handed it off, and there you go.
For real. It's difficult, man, because it's definitely a sense of trust. Like you have to trust that it's going to be there. It's having some faith in your creative mind and the people around you as well. So,
All the power levels of like, I do well under chaos. Do you do well under chaos in like a group setting or something? You know,
I think that's a good point as to people can do well under chaos alone, but how do you do well under chaos with people?
because you're influenced by people.
Can you navigate their
Heavily.
emotions as well as yours? Like,
I was speaking about rooting the pole in the ground. What if someone else says, okay, your idea is good. Let's all latch onto the pole.
yeah,
We're taking off, man. My pole
it's not
can
gonna be
only
there for
hold
long, bro. Yeah.
so much weight before it pulls out of the ground, you know? So it's like, yeah, can you be able to find your own pole, stick that in the ground beside me, and hold on? You know, like, I'm all for helping you guys out, but if like the weight limit's 300, like, and we got like 280 on here, and then someone tries to come over here at like 180 or something, it's not gonna work.
It's not just.
I love you, but don't get on this pole.
Yeah.
Please be able to hold your own. Which it does seem like you know, you're being, you know, like an asshole or something for saying that. It's like, hold your own, bro. But like everybody in the group, it's like, we all got to be on our A game when it comes to chaotic moments. One of us can't fall apart,
Mm.
or else the group is falling apart.
Sure. It's a group effort.
Someone say, well, you're overcounting, man. That's just one person. But if one person goes off of that pole, everybody else is going to start to think, I'm next. So then it's just natural, man. If one
It's a
falls
domino.
apart, it
It's a domino
leads
thing.
to the next one. So, I mean, you have to be able to be like, are you good in chaotic moments? If you're not, I'm not going to bring you to high stress situation.
Hmm.
If I
Yeah.
could avoid it.
Yeah.
If I could avoid it, you're never going to be put in that scenario. You shine elsewhere, and I'll put you there. But I'm not taking you. We need to go do something that's high stress.
It's true. Knowing your collaborators.
It's having that trust instilled with them. It's like, okay, well, if this is not your field, I know that this is your field. If you guys come with me, you stay over there. We're gone. It's not that you're discounted from the group out of all occasions. It's just when we need you, we need you. That's also the thing. The chaos with the egos
Yeah.
coming into a group scenario.
Mm.
We don't need you for this moment. Maybe next moment we may need you.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like you don't need me at all. You don't ever need me. Like so it does come into like, okay, am I appreciated? All this, if you like them more, all this. Boom, chaos in the group.
How do I navigate all these emotions, even your own emotions?
Yes. Because you're getting the finger pointed at you as to like, okay, well, you're choosing sides.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
to blame.
You're
bro.
choosing yourself over the project.
You're like, man, you get live, and you're the calm one of the group. That's where it falls through.
Yeah.
You shine and calming everybody else down, and now you're live. But who do we have to mediate this now? Now it's just going to fall apart.
That's just unregulated chaos. That's what I was going to ask you. How do you know whenever it's good chaos and bad chaos?
Good chaos. Good chaos, I would see it as like competition wise, not ego driven competition, as you're doing stupid stuff to prove you're better than somebody else, like jumping off a cliff or something like that.
It's almost that inspirational competition.
Yeah. You're on the basketball court or something like that. Of course, someone's talking smack and stuff like that. Yes, your ego's going to get involved and be like, hell no.
Do you want to win?
I'm about to dunk on this mother.
Yeah.
But that healthy competition, like as an artist, if me and you are painting next to each other, it's healthy competition. We're both going to try to outdo each other on detail, color, expressing wise. Are we putting emotion into it? Are we not? All that is going to come into it, and it makes us better artists because of it.
In turn, it kind of pushes your artistic mind along.
Yeah, it's good chaos in a way. High stress situation, but it's all like friendly and like
it's very productive. You're growing. Yeah, I would say good chaos is the chaos that allows you to grow. Although it is uncertain and scary at times, I think at the end of the day, you do see growth, or you're embracing it.
Whether you fell through and you caught a L and you're like, damn, but I mean, you got a little bit of growth from that. It's gonna hurt, but you grew.
Yeah, you'll be alright.
You grew.
You grew some dirt in it.
There's some bad chaos. Probably the ego thing would be an example of bad chaos.
Ego thing. You're being overwhelmed by the work. You're letting the work run you. I would say that's bad chaos.
That's bad chaos. Bad chaos being in the chaos, maneuvering through it, but you don't know what you're doing. That's bad chaos because you're making it worse.
You're making it more chaotic.
You're not adding to it. You're freaking overwhelmed. You're spazzing out and stuff, and you don't know which direction you should run in or what you should even do. And yet you're still acting. You're still moving in it. Plant the pole down. Don't try to find a house. Don't try to get in a tree. Like that. Plant that.
Where do I put it?
Where do I put it? Yeah. Or else you got it. You have the tools. You just don't know how to apply it because you're overwhelmed. Bad chaos.
Bad chaos. I think bad chaos is just allowing yourself to get lost in the mix, or like we're saying, just give up. Oh, this is it.
It's done.
It's ruined. It's chaotic. It's uncertain. I don't know, but you You can't let that's bad chaos.
Yeah, you let it run you in that. Hell, you let it run you into the ground at that point. You didn't get you didn't get back up.
Literally takes all creativity away.
It drained you, man, and you never got your creative spark back.
And let you get that.
How do you talking about a creative spark? How do you initiate that within the chaos? Is there any techniques or anything like that you could use
Mm.
to kick it in?
I would say to embrace the chaos because I think it's very tough to embrace it because it's uncertain. You don't really know what's going on at the time.
Yeah.
But to embrace that chaos is to embrace the uncertainty of what could happen. And I think that's what you want as an artist is what could happen.
Yeah. What's in the cards that I'm not accounting for?
Because
I'm not overlooking.
I feel like once you're in that frame of mind of what could happen, I think that's whenever your best work will come out creatively because you're not thinking of what you did before or what you could do in the future. You're kind of at that point of just getting through that time of chaos. So you're like, well, what can I do now? And it's completely different and odd as to what you've done before.
Yeah.
So I think it's a completely unique expression. Just being able to embrace that chaos. What techniques would you say you kind of go through as to navigating that?
I would agree with yours, embracing it.
Mhm.
Also, having the patience with yourself to navigate through it.
It's a good one.
Because it is a lot.
It's a long process
It's
sometimes.
it's overwhelming. Like
It's a constant pressure over a long period of time.
it's overwhelming to the point. Is it ever gonna end? It's the long
Are we ever
hallway.
going to be 8 times of peace again?
Am I ever gonna be happy again? You're in the deep pit, yeah. But 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 being able to say, well, I need to give myself time to evaluate what's going on around me and assess it and act accordingly as opposed to I need to do it now. You need to act on the fly,
I think that takes a lot of the control too, is to let me step back and assess the chaos.
what is going on? Is it just me that thinks it's chaotic or is it actually chaotic?
Because I guess it's the way you look at chaos, because a symphony can be seen as chaotic if you're not the
Yeah.
conductor, you know?
The direction of this, what?
Mhm. So,
Yeah,
but if you're a conductor, you kind of see it as music and everything is coming as it should at each beat.
yeah.
But if not, it's to the regular eye, it's just chaos.
I'm just thinking of the example of like the, you know, he's leading everybody in the orchestra, and you in the audience is like, look at this man. Because like to you, he's like, he's getting into it and shit. He's hitting that shit,
Yeah.
and you're like, why
I
is
had
he
it,
like
yeah.
so like into this, bro? Like just tell them they need to do it, but they don't know it's levels to this. Like if he does it light, they're gonna play light.
Might not see, or yeah.
He's gonna do like certain movements that let them know to where he doesn't have to tell them, hey yo, louder, like he lifts it up or like he makes it more prominent and shit. You gotta hit them notes. I want you to hit them.
Yeah.
So it's
Kind of an unsaid thing too, as well.
Someone's gonna be like, why is that man walking into the tornado?
Yeah.
Why, bro? Just come over here. Because they see it as that's crazy, man. Why are you embracing it? Why are you walking into it and saying it's just dude, it's natural.
Mm.
If I go, I go. Get swept up. But yeah, that's what separates it. It's not chaotic to that man. It's nature. It's just what happened. This is how I've lived my whole life. Walking into the storm,
Just
bro.
knows his environment very well.
Yeah, that's true too. If you're unfamiliar with your environment
the same page. Keep thinking of the cow in the tornado.
It's coming around. You see him walking into it, and you're like, damn, right?
So how would you say that your view of chaos has evolved over time since you starting your artistic journey to now? Did you always have the same view?
No, pretty much I've found chaos to be very negative.
Me
I
too.
didn't want it to be involved within my creative process because it only holds you back. But at this point, I see it as it's pretty much an open doorway into finding out maybe different styles that you could tap into when you haven't necessarily tapped into initially. Any type of designs, topics you could talk about, um, even certain different mediums. You know, I've been like recently thinking about like sculpting and all that stuff. You know, so chaos kind of makes you stray
Break out of your box.
from your it's pretty much like it's pretty much like chaos comes into it and it's like I don't want to do this anymore.
I'm
We
tired.
do something
This is
different,
boring.
right? Yeah, like it's bored and it pretty much is forcing you to do something different. So at this point it's more of a positive than a negative.
Yeah, I'd say I had a very similar viewpoint regarding chaos. It's like it's very negative and uncertain, kind of like staring at you don't know what's necessarily going to happen. But now I kind of see it more as an opportunity as to what's going to happen. You know, it's kind of exciting in that way. It's kind of changing up your regular routine, allowing you to grow as an artist, and just come up with something totally different that you never would have thought that you could have made.
Yeah. It's out of the norm. It's something that you never would have thought to make without being given those circumstances that made you think about something a little different.
Yeah, I think in that way too that chaos can provide you to provoke you to think in a new way. How would you say that you use chaos to allow you to think in different ways or from a different perspective?
I never really thought about like how it makes me think. It's pretty much just jumping into it
Mhm.
as to
Navigating it.
navigating it. Also, well, I could say it probably is, you know, because of we did dive into stepping back and looking it over. I guess that would be a form of like it makes you think about it.
Provoking thought.
It makes you think about your scenario, not necessarily your project, but your scenario and
Yeah,
how you can navigate it.
because I think not focus, chaos kind of makes you stop what you're doing at the moment and reassess the situation.
Yeah, because it's
Because it's not
yeah,
working, you know, like what you're doing ain't working at the moment. So what are you
yeah.
gonna do
It's pretty much if everything was put into a pot, chaos is the fire at the bottom. And you're trying to figure out, do you want all this boiling together?
now? But really, it tastes good together.
Can you mix it all together and it work? You know?
It's your job to make a great.
So it's at times chaos is a catalyst for almost pushing you in the right direction
Pushes you out of the nest,
where you don't
makes you flat.
where you don't have necessarily a pathway to go. It pretty much says, okay, well, I'm starting the car.
It starts driving
You
in the
might-
field. It creates a path for you.
You might as well, you might as well tell me where like the GPS is taking us, or I'm going through these trees.
Hang on, bro.
And it starts going through the trees, and you're like, all right, well, come left. Come left. Yeah, you need to start thinking, or else. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good one. Well, I think that brings us to the final question, my friend.
Hit me with it.
How do you think you're able to find a balance between your chaos and your creativity and pour them both into yourself and to your art?
Well, it's easy, man. I'm the hard
Ooh,
work.
that's the piece of
But if you see it that way, it's easier to combine the both. You know, I have to jump from being super, super conceited and give
I'm
you a
not
real
really like
answer
that,
now.
guys.
I don't know. I don't think that way.
Yeah.
But if you do see yourself that way, I mean, it is easier to work in that regard. It is easier to see them as they are there to help out each other, as opposed to they're there to have you have internal,
They're
beef
conflicting.
the whole time that you're trying to make something. It's not supposed to be that way. You're not supposed to be sitting there and saying, I want to make something, but like there's just too much going on. And I don't know which one to listen to. Just listen to both of them. One of them could be the devil on your shoulder. One of them could be the angel on your shoulder. Listen to both of them.
What do they got
They
to say?
may, they may just need to meet on point. They got differing opinions as to how you should do it, but they meet at some point. Everything does. It always meets at some point. So it's just being able to understand that they do coexist. You're not going to have one without the other, pretty much. And if you do, then damn, you need to teach me.
You need a couple
Yo,
of tips, bro.
Your creative process ain't chaotic. Teach me your ways because damn,
Bro.
the majority of times it's chaotic for me, and I gotta mediate this. But it's mostly because you have too many ideas, too many pathways you could go. But it's the beauty as well as to you have too many pathways. As a person, you have too many pathways. What could you be, man? That's the beauty about it. What are you gonna be, given the pathways that you get? Artistically, given the pathways you get, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna say, well, I'm just not gonna move because there's too many pathways? I don't know which one to choose. That's not a choice. I mean, it is, but it's not. It's not if you're trying to make something and you're trying to stick around, as an artist and have everybody look at your stuff, or you have to choose a pathway. And who knows? Maybe a pathway merges with another pathway. You just gotta go find out.
Find out for yourself.
As a person, you gotta embrace the chaos and the creativity at the same time, because either one is gonna make you grow. Final answer. How do you?
Correct.
How do you? I got like 50 points for that.
But
How do you feel about it?
I think chaos, man, as an artist, it acts as it tests your resilience, it tests your resolve, tests your dedication to the craft. And I think if you're able to navigate the difficulty and the land of chaos, I think you'll be able to find your artistic voice. You'll be able to find your expression at its full depth and find that self talk that is trusting within yourself. I think that's all chaos is about, man. Is being able to strengthen your artistry and strengthen yourself as to being able to overcome it. That is my final answer. Episode 50, the Playaz Club podcast, Chaos into Creativity. Where's my code?
Like we said,
The
go get
mugs.
your mug.
Go get a mug. What else are you going to drink out of this into the festive season?
How else you gonna sip your drink?
Well, until next time, guys. Hey.
Peace. But seriously, like buy a mug right now.
What are you doing?
www.playaz.podcast.